All right, welcome to another video. Let me introduce what I'm doing here. I'm going to do a pre-rinse with the P&S Absolute Rinseless Wash. The car was really dirty. It had gone out of town. So I hit the front. It was full of bugs and whatnot with Koch Chemie Green Star. Sprayed it all down. I let it dwell for a few minutes. I don't remember, like maybe 2-3 minutes before I sprayed down the P&S. And then I also, you can see all the bugs and all the mud. I pre-sprayed the tires and the wheels. I used one of the degreasers I buy from the detail shop to spray underneath the wheel wells. And then the tires. And then I sprayed an acid spray on the tires to help break down all the dirt and grime. This is a normal maintenance client that I do every 2 weeks, but again, they went on a trip, so. And there is the result of me spraying on the P&S Rinseless Wash. And after I spray it on, I start rinsing. I started with the tires. I'll rinse down the entire truck. All it has on it is the Rinseless Wash, and the reason I sprayed that on first is so it encapsulates the dirt. The car was really muddy, and I don't want to just spray water and have the dirt scrape across the paint. And here is the results of all the bugs from the Green Star spray that I had sprayed already. I diluted it 10-to-1, sprayed it on, and I just rinsed it off, and all the bugs came off. And as always, I start with the tires and the wheels. So I do the lug nuts with a little brush. Typically, it doesn't require this much detail, but again, it went on a trip, so I hit the interior with the cone-shaped brush, and now I'm doing the tires. I also scraped the wheel wells just to make sure all that caked up mud falls off. And then I spray it down. This is a ceramic-based SiO2 soap that I use. I let it dwell for a little bit. And then I use various different things here. Like this is the microfiber mitt for the bed, the tonneau cover. I use a brush. And then I use microfiber towels for the bottom of the truck. I have a couple different mitts that I use. I don't use buckets or anything like that, so I'll just use a mitt, use the other side, and then switch it out for a new mitt. And here I am spraying it. As you saw, the tonneau cover, I just used a brush. It's easier that way. I try to hand wash it. And that's what it looks like, nice and washed. And then I move on to the interior. I don't dry the car. I use DI water. So I let it start drying on its own while I work on the interior. I vacuum all the floor mats underneath the seats, the cup holders. I lift up the covers. I vacuum in there. I even lift up the actual floor mat and get underneath there to make sure there's nothing accumulating on the bottom of the mats. And this is how it's kind of drying on its own as I'm working on the interior. And now I go to the actual cleaning. Again, this car was a little dirtier than normal. There's a lot of little stains and whatnot, some sticky stuff on there. So instead of using Polestar, I'm using Koch Chemie Green Star to help break down all the gummy and whatnot, sticky stuff that was all over the car, and to give it a deeper clean than I usually do because it needed it. So with the Green Star, I just brush everything down, all the components, all the little cracks and crevices. That's what it looks like afterwards, nice and clean. Now I have to come back and actually add a protectant because I cleaned it with a stronger cleaner than normal. I go back and I use a protectant. It conditions the leather, the plastics, and it leaves back a protectant to keep the surfaces nice and clean, anti-static. And there you saw me use the air freshener, and I use can dressing here, the P&S no rub, for all the little nooks and crannies like the air vents, the little buttons and whatnot. I'll just spray it on, just rub it out. It's hard to get in between the buttons and whatnot with just a towel. And here you see me spreading out the protectant on the leather. I do that to all the leather seats and all the leather inside to make sure it's nice, clean, and protected. After I make sure everything is protected, I'll just walk around, see if I missed any spots, see if there's any stains on the carpets or whatnot. If there are, I'll hit all the rugs with carpet bomber, but I didn't need it this time. And this is what it looks like after it's been cleaned, conditioned, and protected. Beautiful leather, beautiful components. Everything's nice and clean. I also saw a little bit of dirt on the seatbelt, so I made sure I hit that to make sure they stay clean. And again, car basically dried itself, but I come back with a little spray wax and a high quality drying towel, and I'll just go around the whole car just to make sure I get all the drips and whatnot. And this is what we end up with. A clean car, nice and shiny. Walk around the car, make sure I catch all the drips and whatnot. And again, I hit all the exterior paint with that spray wax, and then I go back and I do. I mean, the everything's nice and clean, but I'll still go back and go over the inside of the doors and the door panels with that same spray wax. And last but not least, it's the windows. I use invisible glass, and I use a new towel every time, because if you're a detailer, you know windows are a pain in the ass. And I don't know, I feel like invisible glass leaves the least streaks, so use a new towel every time for each car to make it easier on myself. And yeah, this is what we end up with. Nice and clean car. Very difficult to do with black cars. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. And if you guys have any special requests on videos, let me know. Thanks.